Hey everyone, my name is Connor Vogt and I'm the Southwestern Kentucky Outreach Counselor for Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority, or KHEAA. Today I want to talk with you about the upcoming FAFSA season. As some of you may already know, the FAFSA Simplification Act last year introduced an updated version of the free application for federal student aid, better known as the FAFSA. Now this delayed the process last year from an October opening into a December opening. Now, this year, the FAFSA was once again delayed until December. Today, we're going to conduct a line-by-line walkthrough of the 2025-2026 free application for federal student aid to get a better understanding of the form, the questions that are asked, and how to best respond to them. We won't discuss financial aid programs too much, but I would encourage you to check out our website, KHEAA.com, to learn more about some programs that are offered here in the state of Kentucky. Now, before we begin, it's important that both the student and at least one parent have a student aid account prior to filling out the FAFSA, as this can take a few days to verify your social security number. This is something that can be done very easily on the same website you fill out the FAFSA, studentaid.gov. Without further ado, the moment you have all been waiting for, let's get the 2025-2026 FAFSA experience started. Now, first things first, we're going to log in with that student aid account we just created. And once you make it to this landing page, you'll notice there's two different FAFSAs you can complete, the 24-25 or the 25-26. Now, we're going to complete the 25-26 today. One major change we've seen in comparison to previous years is no longer can you log in and complete a FAFSA application in its entirety on your own. Now, either the parent or student can start and invite the other to contribute. So for this scenario, we're going to have the student start the application. And after we make our selection, you're going to be guided through 4 different videos discussing what the FAFSA form is, what a contributor looks like on the FAFSA, and some of the next steps. We're not going to go through these for the purpose of this video, but I encourage you, if you're new to the FAFSA world, please take a minute to look at these and review them before you complete your application. After you watch these videos, you'll be directed to your information that's typically listed on your profile. Just go through this and make sure that all of that information is still accurate, and if not, be sure to update that. Now it's going to ask about your state of legal residence and the date you became a resident of that state. For the purpose of this training, we're going to keep it with New York to match the profile. Typically, the date of residence is your birth month and birth year, but it could be any time if you moved later. For this training's purpose, we're going to put May of 2006. One of the biggest changes we've seen to the FAFSA is the use of the Direct Data Exchange. This is a tool that is built into the FAFSA experience where they can directly pull your information from the IRS so you don't have to do so. All they ask for is that you give consent for them to do so. If you decline this consent, unfortunately, you cannot receive any sort of financial aid until consent is given. If you approve consent, you can move forward with the application. So we're going to click approve. What you're seeing now is the direct data exchange in progress. Look how quickly it pulled our information from the IRS. We're going to select continue. Now we're moving into personal circumstances. This is information that would be beneficial in helping to determine what type of financial aid you're eligible to receive. Now first it asks about the student's marital status. So we're going to select single and never married. On this next page, it asks about college and career plans, specifically what grade level the student will be in the 25-26 school year, and if they'll have a bachelor's degree at that point. For this training, we're going to put first year freshman and answer no. Next, the form asks about personal circumstances. These include U.S. military service, if the student has a child whom they give more than half their support, and if the student were a ward of the court, an orphan, in foster care, or in the legal custody of someone other than a biological or adoptive parent. For the purpose of this training, we are going to select that none of these apply. This next question asks if any time on or after July 1st, 2024, if a student was unaccompanied and either homeless or self-supporting and at risk of homelessness. Now, please answer this honestly, but know that if you do answer yes, some additional information may be required with the financial aid team at your chosen school. For the purpose of this training, we're going to go ahead and answer no. This next portion asks about unusual circumstances that might prevent you from safely getting your parents' information to contribute to the FAFSA. This includes if you have left home due to an abusive environment, your parents are incarcerated, or you are otherwise unable to contact your parents. For this portion, we're going to go ahead and answer no, that we do not have any unusual circumstances. At this point, the FAFSA recognizes you don't have any personal or unusual circumstances that would prevent you from adding your parents' information to the form. When asking if your parents are refusing to provide their information, it automatically answers no. If you answer yes to this, you will not be eligible for federal Pell Grant consideration. The next set of questions are about your parents. First, this asks if your parents are married to each other. For this scenario, I'm going to answer no. Next, it asks if your parents live together, and we're going to put no on here as well. After this, it asks if one parent provided more financial support over the last 12 months. I'm going to answer yes to this question. And finally, it asks if a parent identified above has remarried, and I'm going to answer no to that one. Now, based on the answers provided, federal student aid requires that I only have the parent described above added on my FAFSA. Now we are inviting the parent described previously to contribute to our FAFSA experience. At this point, I'm adding in all of my mother's information. Once that's finished, we'll click Send Invite. And now that the invitation's been sent, we're going to click Continue. Next, we're getting into some student demographics. These don't directly affect your financial aid. Next, it's going to ask you about your citizenship status. And after that, it's going to ask about your parents' education status. For this scenario, I'm going to select that neither parent attended college. The next question asks if your parent was killed in the line of duty, whether serving as an active member of the armed forces or as a public safety officer. The next part asks about your high school completion status at the beginning of the 25-26 school year. We're going to select high school diploma. The next part asks for your high school's information. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Kentucky for my state. And then we're going to go ahead and select Bryan Station. Now it's going to ask us to confirm our high school information, so we're going to click Continue. The next part of this application asks about your finances. So first we're going to answer questions about any IRA plans, college scholarships, grants, or AmeriCorps benefits reported to the IRS, and any foreign income. So for all of these, I'm going to put in zeros. Next, it asks about your current total of cash, checkings, and savings accounts, which I'm going to say values at about $350. And I don't have any investments or own a business or farm, so I'll put in zeros for these next two lines. This section is where you will select the schools you are sending your FAFSA to. You can send this to a maximum of 20 schools. Keep in mind, you can add or remove schools from your FAFSA anytime once it has been submitted. Today, I'm going to select 3 schools to send this FAFSA to. And now we're just going to confirm our choices by scrolling down and selecting continue. Now we're getting to the end of our portion, but there's one final step after this. So before we get to that last step, just make sure you go through and verify that all of your information is accurate in each section of your FAFSA. And once you've verified everything, go ahead and hit continue. And now we're going to go ahead and sign our portion of the FAFSA. Now just keep in mind, this application is not complete until all contributors have added their signatures. So we'll check that box that says I agree to the terms outlined above, and we'll go ahead and click sign. Now once you've signed, you should receive this splash page letting you know you're almost there. Now your FAFSA is in the hands of your contributor to complete their portion. By now, your contributor should have received an email that looks like this asking them to help you complete your FAFSA form. It also lets them know that by doing this, they are not held financially responsible for your educational costs and that they have 45 days from the start of the application to complete their part. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hit log in. And we're going to go ahead and log in using that student aid account we've created. Your parent's then going to be taken to a notification letting them know you want their help on a FAFSA form. Let's go ahead and accept that invitation. And there's one last confirmation that you understand that in doing this, you agree to share your information. And then you have a few frequently asked questions. So we'll go ahead and hit continue. Now, like you saw on the student portion, there are 4 videos at the beginning of this. We aren't going to watch these, but again, if you're new to this process, I encourage you to take a look at them. Once we get past those and hit Start FAFSA Form, we can now verify that all of Mom's information is listed here correctly, and then we'll go ahead and hit Continue. Once again, the FAFSA is asking for consent to import federal tax info using the Direct Data Exchange. As a reminder, if no consent is given, the FAFSA cannot be completed. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to go ahead and select Approve. And once again, it's going to import our information. Once it does that successfully, we can go ahead and hit Continue. Now we are getting into parent demographics. For training purposes, I'm going to put my marital status in as divorced and hit Continue. For my state of legal residence, we'll go ahead and put in New York, and I'll put in that I became a legal resident in May of 1979. This next section is for parent finances. First, it's going to ask if you've received any of the following federal benefits during 2023 or 2024, such as Earned Income Credit, Medicare, SNAP, WIC, or Free and Reduced Lunch. Now, these answers aren't going to affect aid eligibility, so I'm going to go ahead and select that none of these apply to me. Now it's asking if the parent's family size is different from the number of individuals claimed on their 2023 tax return. I'm going to select no. Now it's asking how many people in the parent's family will be in college between July 1st, 2025 and June 30th, 2026. We're going to go ahead and put 1. Now we're adding in some more financial information. For training purposes, I'll list that I had $10,000 in an IRA that rolled over into another plan. We're also putting in any grants, scholarships, and AmeriCorps grants received, as well as any foreign earned income. For training purposes, I'm going to put in a total of $5,000 in child support received. For a total of cash, savings, and checking, I'm going to put in $3,000. And let's go ahead and put $20,000 in net worth of investments. And lastly, we're going to add in $0 for net worth of businesses and investment farms. Now we just want to go through one final time and verify that all of our information is accurate. And now you're ready to sign and submit the FAFSA form. Remember, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom, check that box that says you agree to the terms outlined above, and hit sign and submit. Congratulations! Your 2025-2026 free application for federal student aid is now complete. The student should receive an email version of this confirmation page shortly. Remember, you can log in on studentaid.gov at any time to check on the status of your FAFSA, add or remove schools, and update information as necessary. If you have any questions throughout this journey, please reach out to us at KHEAA. We're glad to help. No matter where you live in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, there's at least one outreach counselor in your area ready to serve you. I wish you the best of luck and happy FAFSA filing.